And hello, one and all, and welcome to my review for this week's episode of NXT. We're going to take a look at everything that took place on the June 15th edition of NXT. Overall, I enjoyed this edition from start to finish, as I usually do with NXT. 1 hour show, we usually accomplish a lot within the 1 hour time frame, and I felt that this week's edition of NXT was no different. There was a lot of good stuff, and there was a really hot ending that got me excited for NXT TakeOver Back to Brooklyn. I believe the next TakeOver Brooklyn special is going to be called. Let me just double check that. Yep, NXT TakeOver Back to Brooklyn on August 20th. So we are beginning the build for that show. And like I said, overall, this show was focused from start to finish. And I'll tell you what I liked and maybe what I didn't like. So without further ado, I give you my review. So how do we kick things off on this week's edition of NXT? Well, we start with a recap of everything that took place at NXT TakeOver The End last Wednesday night. And really good NXT TakeOver special. Check out my review if you want to get my full thoughts and opinions on that. But we kick things off with in-ring action with the debuting the Authors of Pain with Paul Ellering at ringside versus two local talent. This was pretty much domination from the Authors of Pain from start to finish. They hit a nice big boot spinning side slam combo, and they were able to hit up a Russian leg sweep followed by a clothesline for the victory. So just a way to demonstrate how the Authors of Pain are a team that are to be reckoned with in the NXT Tag Team division. These guys mean business, being paired up with a legendary manager like Paul Ellering, who, as we all know, managed the Road Warriors, a.k.a. the Legion of Doom, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. You pair them up with him as the mouthpiece. I see big potential in this team. I really like how we've signed some new teams to the NXT Tag Team division. You have Gargano and Ciampa. They make a good team. You got the Authors of Pain. You have TM61. And you also have Blake and Murphy. You have the tag team champs, the Revival, American Alpha. So the NXT Tag Team division scene is looking very healthy right now, and I'm looking forward to it. But I like this match. I like how it focused on highlighting the power and just dominating force, as I put it, that the Authors of Pain had. Like I said, okay, they made quick work of the authors of Pain. Should say made quick work of their competitors. We had, after this backstage, the Perfect 10 tied Dillinger challenge Andre Cien Almus to another match tonight, and that would take place later on in the show. I liked how backstage the Authors of Pain and Paul Ellering were walking through not Eden. They were trying to get a comment backstage from the interviewer, and they just kept walking, and Ellering said, in due time, you will know what we're about. And that's pretty much all they said. So I liked how they tease this. Where are they going with this? Who are they going to be feuding with? I'm looking forward to seeing what type of impact they make on the NXT Tag Team division. We then had a solid women's match in Carmella versus Tessa Blanchard. Carmella, like I said, she continues to improve on a week-in, week-out basis. She's becoming one of my favorites to watch in the NXT women's division. She really has improved over time. I really like the way that she is able to pick up the victory after going for the Bronco Buster. She also hit a nice-looking super kick on Tessa during the match. They were given enough time, and like I said, the finish came down to after when Carmella hit the Bronco Buster, and afterwards she went for her triangle submission chokehold for the victory. I really like that submission. It looks effective. And what more can you say? Carmella continues to build momentum on a week-in, week-out basis, and I'm interested to see where they go with her in the weeks and months to come on NXT. So good stuff all around from the women this week on NXT. After this, we had an interview Samoa Joe was interviewed after NXT TakeOver The End, and he pretty much said that no one is willing to sacrifice enough to take away the NXT title from him, and the Samoa Joe era starts now. And after this, we had TM61 versus Blake and Murphy. Very solid tag team match right here. They gave him enough time. TM61 quickly becoming one of my favorite teams to watch on NXT. Them and Blake and Murphy, they went back and forth with one another throughout this match, and I really like how we didn't know if Blake and Murphy would be on the same page during this match, due to losing Alexa Bliss, and then it looked like they might be splitting up. And towards the end of the match, this did factor into it, as Blake accidentally clotheslined Murphy, and this would lead to Thorne getting the tag in, and they were able to hit the Thunder Valley finisher on Blake, which I have to say looked really nice finisher for TM61, and they were able to pick up their first victory on NXT. So what more can you say? I thought this was another solid outing for TM61. Good showcase, able to pick up their first win over an established team like Blake and Murphy, and I'm excited to see where they go heading into the weeks to come, heading into TakeOver back to Brooklyn. We then had an interview with the Revival conducted after NXT TakeOver the End. They said they did exactly what they would. They defeated the American Alpha to become the first ever two-time NXT champions. And then after this backstage interview, we had Ty Dillinger versus Andre Cien Almus. The crowd was split here. It seemed to me, again, they were favoring towards Ty Dillinger than Almus, but Almus got his fair amount of cheers. But this was a very, very solid, very good match. Might I say it was even better than their TakeOver the End match. They were both similar in terms of match quality, in my opinion. Both good matches. Almus went over here in this match after he was able to hit the double running knee on Dillinger for the victory. So Almus making a strong debut in NXT with his second consecutive victory. I think he will do well in NXT. Very flashy, high octane, lucha libre style moveset that he uses. And him and Dillinger went out there, and like I said, they had a pretty solid match, just as good, if not maybe a little better than their TakeOver the End match. So this was all stuff good. It was good stuff all around, is what I'm trying to say. Looking forward to seeing where Almas heads in the weeks to come on NXT. And then after this, we had a backstage interview segment with Bayley. She said she will be cleared very soon to return to the ring, so hopefully this will lead to the eventual build towards Bayley versus Asuka 2 at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, or back to Brooklyn, I should say. That should be a tremendous rematch, one that I am most certainly waiting to see. And then we had our ending segment. It was Finn Balor. He made his way to the ring. He cut this really good emotional promo, talked about how the first time he saw NXT on TV, he knew he had to go to NXT, and he became the longest reigning NXT champion. And he said, what's next for Finn Balor? And he kept saying, what's next for Finn Balor? And eventually, Shinsuke Nakamura would come to the ring. The crowd goes nuts. I'm going nuts. I'm like, oh my, I know what this means. And Nakamura gets in the ring, and he says when he was in Japan, he watched Balor and become an NXT icon. And Nakamura wants to one day become the NXT champion. But the only way to become the NXT champion is to beat Finn Balor. And Balor says Nakamura has answered his question of what is next for Finn Balor. It's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor. And you know that match is probably going to take place at NXT TakeOver back to Brooklyn. Already shaping up to be a stacked card. Cannot wait to see what type of card NXT produces for that huge SummerSlam weekend. But you throw this match on there, this has the potential to be a match of the year candidate. So this was all around good stuff from NXT from start to finish. I really enjoyed this episode. If I had to give it a grade, I'm going to go as high as an A-. This was a really good edition of NXT from start to finish. So yeah. Those are my thoughts and opinions on this week's edition, the June 15th edition of NXT. Let me know down in the comments section below what you guys thought of NXT. What did you like? What didn't you like? What are you looking forward to at NXT TakeOver back to Brooklyn on August 20th? Always enjoy getting that feedback. And please click that like and subscribe button, guys. Help continue to grow this channel, because without you, none of this would be possible. So thank you to all my new subscribers. And yeah, I will see you guys in my Money in the Bank preview and predictions video. Till then, guys, peace.